What's up, guys? It's Mike Xaoc here with another
New music Monday. Hey, hey.
and today I'm going to be talking about After Hours by The Weeknd. After Hours is The Weeknd's fourth studio album and first release since My Dear Melancholy back in 2016, and his first album release since Starboy back in 2016. So it's been a while since we heard any new music from The Weeknd. Because of The Weeknd's hiatus and recent thrilling singles like Blinding Lights and Heartless, the album generated a decent amount of hype. The Weeknd delivers with a payoff of 14 tracks and a cinematic yet psychedelic album cover inspired by the likes of Fear and Loathing in Los Angeles and Uncut Gems, which The Weeknd actually has a cameo in. There are some interesting collaborators on this project, such as established producers Max Martin and Metro Boomin, but also Uncut Gems score composer Daniel LaPatin and Tame Impala's own Kevin Parker. I like this group of collaborators working together, not only because they're extremely successful musicians, but because their talents expand across all genres, which reflects in The Weeknd's work, allowing After Hours to occupy this space between pop, R&B, and psychedelic rock. This leads into the production, which I think is one of the strongest parts of After Hours. Most of the tracks on this album include this twinkly, ambient arpeggiation of synths, creating this synthetic atmosphere that reminds me of something like Vaporwave or Aha. The strongest instances of this can be heard on songs like Too Late or Save Your Tears. Honestly, this whole project sounds pretty retro and sounds like it could be the theme song to an 80s sci-fi movie or a show like Stranger Things, which takes place in the 80s. Really? I had no idea. A lot of the rhythms on these tracks seem to draw inspiration from this synth pop wave as well. The Weeknd sings over a lot of four to the floor, disco-y, simplistic beats, like on the tracks In Your Eyes and After Hours. However, there are some instances on this album where the producers experiment with some non-traditional pop rhythms, like on the track Hardest to Love, where the whole song revolves around this slowed run and bass beat. I personally love run and bass and respect artists that try to tap into this genre because it's not the easiest to sing or rap over. Also, the hi-hat on Escape from LA really stood out to me. It progresses through this loop where the rhythm starts really simple and gets more complex. It starts with a simple quarter note rhythm, then changes to triplets, then changes to a crescendo of 30-second notes. It's a pretty dope progression. Also, the songs flow into each other pretty nicely. As for the singing goes, The Weeknd stays on brand by delivering melodic hooks and holding out notes at the end of lines with strong bravado and a strong vocal presence. The Weeknd is arguably one of the best singers in the music industry today, so I didn't really have a doubt that he would deliver some crazy vocal runs on After Hours. However, it does seem like The Weeknd is kind of limiting his range here, as a lot of the songs are in the same key and he recycles the same notes throughout the project. This causes a lot of the songs to sound the same, and the project gets a little bit stale by the end because of this. The Weeknd sings a lot more in his mid-range on After Hours than, say, Starboy, where he utilizes his full vocal range. Just listen to the song 6 Feet Under to see what I'm talking about. The lyrical content stays on brand for The Weeknd as he continues to sing about sex and drugs like he did on his last projects. As far as themes or narrative, After Effects seems to follow this deteriorating relationship between The Weeknd and some unknown lover as it correlates with The Weeknd's drug dependency. The Weeknd sings a lot about being alone, how he has hurt his past lover, and now it's too late to make amends, causing them to doubt falling in love again with another person. While at the same time, The Weeknd sings about getting drunk and getting high on MDMA and having copious amounts of sex, which turns him into a heartless bastard despite his efforts to become a better man. The album even takes a bit of a darker turn on the song Faith, where The Weeknd's drug use just gets out of control, filling his head with nihilism to the point where he thinks about overdosing and how if he did overdose, he would just want his lover to be there and follow him into the next life so that he wouldn't have to be so alone. Yeah, it's pretty fucking grim. The Weeknd's haunting delivery laid over these retro, funky beats acts as a nice contrast, and the beats even mask some of the sadder, darker lyrical content. These ideas continue all the way through the album until the outro, Until I Bleed Out, where The Weeknd expresses regret for his drug use because of all the issues that it's caused, and how he just hopes he can move on, live a sober life, free from drugs, free from emotional pain. And the album ends there. Overall, I'd give After Hours a 6 out of 10. The album has a strong theme and creates a dope vibe by incorporating a lot of 80s influences in contemporary pop and R&B, but the lack of noticeable variety both with the instrumentals and The Weeknd's vocal range kind of holds this project back a little bit. There are so many other sounds from the 80s era that the producers could have incorporated into this project, but they decided to stick with a small niche sound, and for a project that's about an hour, it got a little stale by the end. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you found it informative, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, you know what to do. Hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Hit that shit!
And if you want more new music, here's some other releases that came out this weekend. You should check them out. They're pretty good. And I'll be back next week. Alright, thanks guys. Peace out.